Good morning, everybody. It's so great to see you here. I'm Stacy Dean. I'm the Carbonell Family Executive Director of George Washington's Global Food Institute. Hello, Deanna. Good to see you. Bright shining face coming from me up from the room. It's just an incredible honor to welcome you all on behalf of Food Systems for the Future and Ambassador Cousins, Jose Andres, and George Washington University to the Grocery Retail for All Summit. Welcome, you're here, it's incredible. Today's meeting brings together national leaders from USDA, HHS, representatives of the grocery industry, the food industry, philanthropy, researchers, academics, nonprofit leaders, advocates, community investors, local government leaders, and most importantly, business owners and community leaders doing the very real work of bringing affordable, nutritious foods to their communities. And so if you are a grocer in the grocery space, like, wait, let's see a wave from all of you. Yeah, come on, guys. I know you're here. And some of them are back reading the secretary as well. The problem with and the origin story around why we have a lack of grocery stores and healthy, affordable food access in so many communities is really well documented, and it's a topic we could dig even further in today because there's so much to talk about in that space and to bring awareness. But today we're going to focus on working and exploring successes and how to replicate those successes in communities around our country. We are just so incredibly pleased to have such an impressive group here today to lift up their example of working as independent grocers, businesses, and other folks in the grocery field who are breathing life into their communities with fresh, healthy foods. Too often, they're laboring in their own communities, focused on making change, not telling their story, and they operate without the recognition, the extraordinary recognition that they deserve. So today we want to make space to hear from them, for them to hear from each other about their tactics, their why, their lessons, and their strategies for success. Their successes are examples to others, but they can also point us in the direction of important policies that should be explored with the goal of easing barriers to entry and replicating their good work. We're going to hear from other critical voices, and I'm from the national leader perspective, Leslie Ertharin from the Food Marketing Institute, and I'm particularly pleased that USDA Secretary Millsap is here with us today. He's a champion his entire career. He has championed advocating for those who struggle to afford food and access healthy food, as well as for a way to bring economic opportunity, including grocery access to rural communities and nation's farmers. I guarantee you, without even knowing what he's going to say, I guarantee he's going to talk about economic opportunity. It's so important to him because it's so important to the community that we're all working to serve. So today's meeting exemplifies how we want to pursue our work at the Global Food Institute, lifting up models from communities, local leaders that are doing the incredible work, talk about what's scalable, and connect those ideas with policymakers and national leaders like so many in this room. We hope to do much more of this, looking for solutions to the problems of our food system that our food systems face, with the goal of ensuring that everyone has access to the healthy, affordable food that they deserve. We are just delighted that you're here with us today. This is a room of change makers. I'm looking around and seeing so many of you that inspire me. This room understands we need changes to the food system to ensure that we're serving everyone. Really, so thank you for committing your time here today and committing to expand and grow this community. So I just have a few tiny logistical issues to raise with you, and then I'm going to turn it over to the incredible Ambassador Ertharin Cousins. First is that some of you have name tags, and we tried to put an apple on those folks in the grocery space and a sun for those in the investment space. If we missed it, please grab one from outside because we want you to find each other and to further conversation. You've got materials on your tables about web Wi-Fi access, the work of Food Systems for the Future agenda, the participants, all of that's right there. There's a room across the hall for if you need to, if you found somebody you really want to have a conversation with, you can pull them across there and make space to chat with each other. And because it is an action-packed day with very few breaks, so we wanted to make sure that we were creating space for you. So with that, I want to bring the incredible Ambassador Ertharin to the table. She has an extraordinary history of working to improve the food system, whether it's across the globe at the World Food Program, as the ambassador in Rome to the United Nations Food Programs at Stanford University, or now at Food Systems for the Future. She does mission-based work, all oriented on building a better food system for everyone. She is the inspiration for today. She and her team have been wonderful partners. Please let me welcome her, an incredible leader today.
Good morning. Okay, we have a long day together here. Good morning. All right, we're gonna start off. They told me I need to set the tone for the day. So we need the energy in this room. Let me begin by, of course, thanking Stacy Dean and her incredible team here at the GW Global Food Institute. And when I reached out to Jose Andres and his colleagues at Longer Tables, they supported this idea of a grocery retail summit from day one and pointed me in the direction of Stacy Dean and her team here at the Global Food Institute as the partners to work with to make this a success. And good things do come together. I must also ask that and also thank CD Glenn and the PepsiCo Foundation. You will hear from CD later this morning. It was about this time last year that when I came to CD with our ideas about performing a grocery retail landscape to identify the entrepreneurs, advocates, policies, partnerships, the finances supporting successful, even if struggling, some of you know the truth, the grocery operations in rural and urban communities where stores had closed or declined to open. These stores were making a go of it. And he believed in the goals and offered his support while challenging me to find other partners. Well, as I look around this room, I must smile. Because as Stacy noted in her introduction, you are the partners, the leaders, the funders, the advocates, the policymakers, toiling in your communities to make nutritious food affordable and available everywhere across America. I must also thank David Lang and the Annenberg Foundation. Without their support, you would not eat today. We would unfortunately convene a food conference without food. So as you enjoy your breakfast and lunch, remember the generosity of the Annenberg Foundation. So seriously, and finally, as Stacy noted, on your table, you will find the QR code for the landscape report that will develop the evidence for today's conversation. And I must ask Jennifer Kelly to stand up or wave. Jen, where are you? She's in this room somewhere. And at Teacher Class, Jen serves as the nutrition director at Food Systems for the Future. And Jennifer performed the interviews, led the research and data analysis, supervised the writing, editing, and design work for the Grocery Retail Landscape Report. Without her, we would not be here today. So thank you, Jenna, for your tireless efforts. You know, as the former U.S. Ambassador for Food and Agriculture, as well as having been blessed to serve as the Executive Director of the World Food Program, I am often described, and my mother's very proud of this, as a woman who believes we can end global hunger and malnutrition. You know, I accept that description, but not naively, and not with an air of Pollyannism. I believe that malnutrition ends at the nexus of policy, finance, advocacy, economic development, and imagination. Imagination, because if we don't believe, if we can't visualize a world without malnutrition, we will keep doing the same things, investing in the same programs, repeating the same talking points. We won't step outside the comfort zone of admiring the problem, to developing new tools, new alliances, the new partnerships with different bedfellows than we normally work with, that will support a real ability to achieve different outcomes. Though I began my food security work here at home, both working in the private sector, supporting construction of stores in low-income and working-class communities, amongst my other responsibilities across America, I also served as a stint as the Deputy Executive Director of what is now Feeding America. But much of my recent career has focused on addressing the issues of hunger and of malnutrition across the global South. So when making plans for my next act after leaving the World Food Program, my research suggested that with 3.1 billion people globally unable to regularly afford a nutritious meal, that our new organization, Food Systems for the Future, should focus on developing and scaling businesses that could change this reality, particularly focused in the global South. Yet, when stress testing my thesis, I was challenged by my students and others. Some of you are in this room today, particularly young people, to open my eyes and to not just recognize, but to do something about the hunger and malnutrition experienced by millions of Americans without access to affordable and nutritious food. So Food Systems for the Future was founded with a vision of ending malnutrition here at home as well as globally. Our vision is supported by a mission of creating a sustainable food system leveraged by diverse enterprises that will protect human health and environment while providing appropriate financial return to all the actors across the food system. A farmer growing diverse, nutritious, sustainably produced crops should not be poor, whether in the Delta, in Mississippi, or in sub-Saharan Africa. An entrepreneur operating a retail food delivery service like Dion Dawson, operating Dion's Dream, providing mobile access to produce and meals across Chicago, South and West Side, should receive the resources necessary to scale up, to hold his head high for building wealth and creating jobs across the city. Or Amanda Stevenson, now successfully operating the Fresh Food Factory in Anacostia, bringing fresh, nutritious, culturally diverse products to the Anacostia community. Amanda should have access to the funding, the partnerships, the mentorship required to scale her entrepreneurial enterprise and her community development dreams. Today, you will hear from several entrepreneurs discussing the success as well as the challenges of keeping stores open. I know you will be inspired by their stories. You will hear from community advocates and partners describing their journey of working to develop and maintain diverse retail, community, and context-appropriate solutions. Because as the report outlines, a diversity of retail grocery solutions is required, you will hear from national and regional operators discussing the work they are performing with community partners to open and successfully operate stores. And I'm delighted that Leslie Saracen, president of the Food Marketing Institute, joined this effort as a partner in today's summit and will join us as a speaker today. to talk about her organization and her members and the support they are committed to providing for access to affordable, nutritious food in every community across America. The data is confirmed by our landscape efforts supports the importance of policy to create the ecosystem required for success. We will hear from Emily Broadleaf about these local, state, and federal policies. The report also illuminates the importance of delighting the customer as part of the secret sauce for success. Delight is an emotion income should not dictate. And so you will hear from Kevin Kelly about how stores in every community can make delight happen. Just imagine. Because as I began in my comments today, change happens at that intersection of policy, advocacy, finance, and imagination, as well as really good operation. So we are bringing two financiers to the stage to discuss capital flows to increase grocery retail offerings in rural and urban communities. But today is just the beginning. We will end the day with a conversation led from the stage about where we go from here. You may have come today because you're curious, or you may have come to this conversation today skeptical that there is a secret sauce for creating success in these communities. I hope, whatever the reason, you leave today inspired and committed and prepared to do the work to ensure access to affordable, nutritious food in every community across America. Thank you. I have the honor and the privilege of welcoming the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Tom Vilsack, to deliver opening remarks. Secretary Vilsack has been a stalwart supporter of increasing access to affordable, nutritious food, as you heard from Stacy. Examples of this commitment are many, including back in December 2016 when he announced changes to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program to enhance access to healthy food choice, requiring SNAP authorized retailers to establish to offer a larger inventory and variety of healthy food options. To his more recent June 2024 announcement of the Food Access and Retail Expansion Fair Fund, a $60 million initiative under HFFI. As many of you in this room know, this fund aims to provide loans, grants, and technical assistance to food retailers and supply chain projects in underserved communities over the next 5 years. Let's keep an eye on that. Now, I ask that you please join me in welcoming a leader, a supporter, and my friend, Secretary Tom.